What's up today? What's up tomorrow? And I don't even know what I'm talking about.
You don't know what you're talking about?
I don't even know where it came from. What's up today?
I don't know what the hell you're trying. Oh man, so over the weekend we went to see
Eternals.
And there has been an up and down chaos about it.
Mm-hmm. And we wanna talk about that.
Well, you know what, I'm gonna let you go first because there's just so much things that I want to get off my chest with it. But
get off that thing.
But overall, I don't find it bad. I don't find it a bad movie.
I agree.
But you know what, I'm gonna leave that for when we get down into it.
All right. So here are my Go Geeks, and there are quite a few. I think it was a really, actually good movie. Okay, if you were looking for like Winter Soldier, right, kind of action, something like that was not going to happen. And I feel like they made that kind of clear even in the trailers that this was not going to be a kind of action-oriented movie. So if you were looking for that, I will say that I may have thought different about this before WandaVision. Because even though WandaVision's TV show, this is a movie, the kind of pacing that it did, the kind of like slow burn that it did, was very akin to that. And like at first I was like, wait, where's the Marvel when watching WandaVision? And then I was like, oh, there it is. It's just done differently. This is that kind of movie. Like, listen, it was a very diverse cast. To me, one of the most diverse cast of a Marvel movie, because I actually thought that Loki kind of was diverse as well.
True.
But Brian Tyrese Vassos, that one hit me on several different ways. First off, I read an article about when he thought, that he was going to get casted for this. One of the things he said was like, all right, so how much weight do I have to lose? If you noticed, I am not a thin girl, okay? And Brian Tyree is not a thin guy. He a thick guy. I met him. But he didn't have to do nothing. I loved that. He represented a family man, a father, a husband, okay, me as wife, okay? But like, I like that. I vibed so much with that, and I thought that was just such an important thing to see. Something that, like, me personally, I don't usually see, especially body types. So I know that might not go into the thought process of like us talking about the movie about is it good or whatever. To me, it was good. All right. I think it had action when it was supposed to. I think it was centered on the drama, okay, of a family, and they did that well. When Icarus was talking about Selma Hayek's Ajax was killed by the Deviants, I was like, I mean, we don't know that. It hits all the beats. Okay, it hits definitely all the beats. But like I said, for me, that I thought was just really cool was the diversity. It hit home for that. The mic is passed to you, sir.
Okay, well, at first when I was about to watch the movie, there was a lot of speculation. Not really speculation, but a lot of reviewers were talking about the movie that it was the worst Marvel movie and all of that. And to me, I didn't see it as the worst Marvel
Definitely
movie. It probably wasn't up-tempo like the rest of the movies, but it was there because, most of these movies that are from Marvel, they're actually based on like superheroes that actually got their representation as a superhero. These individuals, they were actually made with superpowers. So it's not like they actually work for it. You know what I mean? In some sense. Okay. They actually were made by the Celestials. All right, so my good geeks, this movie was shot beautifully. Oh my God, it was shot beautifully. The visual effects was spectacular. Everything was sort of perfectly right. It can't get any better. As usual, Marvel always bring the big chops in these movies. Actually, appreciated the structure of the story that envisions, these beings that started the whole entire superhero, super ability type thing. So right there and then, because during the movie I was like, most of these abilities that each of these Eternals have, they have superpowers that were actually a part of X-Men. If you look in certain X-Men,
listen,
they have each of their abilities.
I saw that.
You know what I mean? So which is good. So that's a big structure for this. Basically, yeah. One of the scenes that I love was the fight scene in Druig's little community in the jungle. I like seeing it, and basically the development of the deviants, the enhancements. You know, they start healing themselves and everything. They start getting like more mature, not really mature, but more knowledgeable, more smart. Oh my God, I love the ending. Kit Harington showed himself. He is basically the Black Knight that is going to be in the new set of Avengers. And I can't wait to see what they're going to do with him. When he was telling Cersei that, listen, I have a little bit of issue that my family was, and I was like, then she gone, and I was like, okay, tell it, nigga, tell it. Okay, so enough with the good geek. So here's my bad geek. First of all, I gotta say, the movie was just too long. I think the movie could have been a little bit shorter. Sprite's reason for her to prefer being a human was just dumb to me. Yeah, I was a bit confused. Talking about Sprite, I was a little bit confused where Angelina Jolie's character was her mind was basically set off from her past. But that confuses me because didn't the Celestials make them? Like literally created them?
Her mind was fracturing, that's why.
Yeah, but the Celestials created them, like from scratch. Like they created them. Just like how they created the universe and the earth and everything. But they created them. So why would she have a memory of her past as a human? But
no, it wasn't a memory of her past as a human. It was a memory of her past as a celestial in another world.
Yeah, basically. But the Celestials made them.
Okay.
I please comment if you guys understand what I'm talking about. Because if I'm trying to make something, I will make it with my own image, with my own idea.
Well,
so why would they be made? But at the same time, they're thinking, or they have a mind fart that I was someone else in another world, or I don't get it.
It's not the fact that there was someone else in another world. She was remembering her past lives from being on other worlds.
Yes, I understand that. But the Eternals were made by the Celestials. They were actually created by the Celestials.
Okay.
So I'm please, guys, if you guys know the idea of what I'm talking about, please comment. Please talk about it. And last but not least, Kingo's character. I'm not sure you know, but Kingo in the Eternals is a samurai.
Okay.
Yeah. This wasn't portrayed in it. To how they had.
That was the guy that had Hulk smash.
No man, Kingo is the Indian guy. The Indian.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about the guy that
I forgot his name.
Oh my God. Smash.
Yeah, I forgot his name. But to what they portrayed him, he was just like this giggly type dude. He was just happy-go-lucky type dude, and Kingo was badass in the comics. He's a freaking samurai. You get what I'm saying? So they didn't use him. It didn't have him like using a sword. They have him using his fingers to blast power. I didn't like that. A lot of comic public can see what I'm talking about and kind of relate, but yeah.
I felt almost exactly opposite of almost everything you said. I love Kingo. Even though I didn't remember his name, I loved that character.
I guess probably you like him because you're not probably used to the character in the comics.
I can respect that. I can respect that. As if you're being a purist, I can definitely respect that.
And remember, you have to look at the fact that you have people who watch these movies for two things. They're either a fan of the comic, or they are comic book fans, or people who just literally want to go with the flow of what Marvel is bringing.
Listen, I get you on that. Listen, I get you on that. And as a diehard Harry Potter fan, okay, there's a difference of feeling when I watch the first two movies based on all the rest of the movies, because of the fact that the first two movies were just so dead on to the source material, and then the last movies took bits and pieces and interpretations. So I get that. So I'm not gonna debate that. What I'm just saying is I did did like what the version that they presented of that character. I did like.
Okay.
I also was like, okay, I didn't mind at first on paper. 2 hours and I think 34 minutes. That was the runtime. I was like, what in the hell? But in the movie theater, I was like, oh, it's over. Okay, I really didn't feel bored. You know what I'm saying?
At one time I was bored.
Okay.
At one time I was bored.
Okay, I get you. I really didn't feel bored. But to me, there was some things that I did not like about the movie. Like the first thing was, and that to me was the biggest flaw, that they start to make that deviant self-aware, and it went nowhere with it. You didn't need it. You could have just had them fighting deviants and then just focus on Icarus being the bad guy and the turncoat, and you would have had a flawless thought process in that mindset. But the fact that you started to introduce this awesome perspective of a deviant being self-aware,
They didn't.
okay, and then all of a sudden it's just like, nah.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? Where did that come from? Why did y'all not let
They
that
didn't
go?
expand it more.
That's
on deviance.
that's a fact. And speaking about what you were talking about, Angelina Jolie, and Athena, and no, not Athena, her being Athena and her mind fracturing or whatever. I think the reason why you didn't like it, and you can correct me, is that I feel like they didn't play it enough. It was one of those things that literally was just to move the plot forward at certain times, and then it didn't matter after all.
No, I get the plot. I'm just a bit confused as to why she's having that mind blip where these individuals were literally made by the Celestials. It's not like they were selected in other parts of the universe and be like, okay, I'm gonna put this particular power inside of you because you're selected and whatever the case is. They were literally made. Just what they showed you in the when Cersei actually saw the when she finally got to realize, you know, what the whole backstory of them being. You literally see them individually being made. So
I hear you.
You know, that part was kind of confusing for me.
I hear you. Like I said, to me, I didn't have a problem with that. Like I actually think differently on that theory. But what just kind of pissed me off was that Athena went back and forth maybe like once or twice about being, I guess, defective or whatever. But it could have made for a very interesting part of her character, and I just felt like they underutilized that completely. When you were talking about like how you could see semblances of the X-Men, it was actually distracting. So for me, Icarus to me was nothing but either Superman or Cyclops, even though Cyclops can't fly. You know what I mean? But definitely with his eyes. Yeah. I was like, I kept thinking about those two characters intertwined.
Yeah, it's like
I kept thinking about Druid being Professor X and Makari being Quicksilver. Like it was almost nothing to differentiate, and that actually brought me out of me watching the Eternals and kept thinking about, okay, so when's X-Men gonna come? So when they gonna talk about X-Men? How's it gonna move with the X-Men? Because I'm thinking that maybe, I think it's Tiamat, was gonna maybe explode. Maybe his essence was going to, you know, filter into the universe or filter into the sky or whatever. And that was gonna be the birth of the X-Men. Like I kept thinking about those things.
And I was thinking the same thing, but it didn't.
I know, right? I was like, fuck.
I give it, I give it a 6.5 out of 10.
I think it's 75 at least.
Okay.
I think it's 75, 77. I think it's fair. Okay, not a perfect movie, but it was a good movie, and it by far is not the lowest of the low as far as quality. I can't speak on Cinema Score, I can't speak on IDB or whatever, but as far as Rotten Tomatoes, but as far as quality, it was not the lowest of the low of MCU. It wasn't. With that being said, I am Lainey. He is Jay.